What's going on, Pelfrey? It's YouTube, and this is not the Red Sea Reefer 250, but I am making some water. Some salt water. It's about 30 gallons. I am making some water. But what's kind of interesting is, aside from the whole mess that I've got going on over there, I've actually got an infrared heater blowing on the Brute. I've got two Eheim heaters in here, and a Tunze pump, and a CJ 1.5 circulating water. And it is just taking forever to get this up to temperature. It's almost at 76. If I can get it to 77, my tank's at 78. So if I can get it to 77, I'll feel comfortable with doing that water change. I really wanted to do this like 30 minutes ago because I got some downtime and nobody's home. So whenever I do a water change this big, I have to use my two 10-gallon Brutes and a couple 5-gallon buckets, and I just have stuff everywhere. So I really want to get this water heated up. I have about another 30 minutes before it's going to get chaotic in the house again. So I'm hoping that this gets up from 75.7 to 77. But yeah, I have the infrared heater blowing on here, and I mean the container's warm. Obviously, I think it's really helping. Of course, being on the cold concrete is not helping so bad, but it's 55 in the garage, which is not terrible. So, maybe with the two Eheim heaters, that's a 150 watt heater. I don't know exactly what the other one is, but it's probably the same wattage. Maybe it's time for me to look into some new heaters, but it's been a while since I've used them. It's been a long time since I've done a water change. So the heaters could, just be the issue. So I am using the Inkbird on one heater, and then I added the second heater, just plugged it into the surge protector that's on the ground there. So I do like using the Inkbird for the water mixing. Today's just really been one of those days where I'm trying to knock out as much stuff with the tank as I possibly can. One thing that I do need to do is pull the 80/20 out and the lights and put a new piece of wood, let me see if I can get this straight. Pull the whole light situation out and mount the 80/20 to a new piece of wood, because that wood I think is kind of warped, which my light tower has been struggling now for a little while. But I just really haven't got around to it. But I did get the Tunze pumps clean. Most of the corals right now are aggravated, to say the least, because now that they're clean, we're in full production mode as far as the power of the Tunze pumps. I did take the screen and sprayed it off in the shower, which there still is a little bit of salt and stuff on here. So that might be stuff from my towel that I used to dry it. Yeah, I think it's just stuff from my towel that I used to dry it. So I'll just kind of wipe that stuff off. But very important. I do this a couple times a year just because you get salt on the edges, underneath the rim, salt on the screen itself. And, that's definitely going to affect par. Excuse me. I did put in the Tunze cable to link the two controllers together. And so this is the master, this is the slave. And no matter how I switch this controller, even if I set this as the master and this is a slave, the bottom light will not light up on the slave. And I've done everything that I was supposed to do, and I've watched the Tunze video multiple times. So yeah. So I did pull out the hand and temp check, and I did verify the Inkbird controller over here is correct, and it is. Jabo pump, the return pump, needs to come out. I don't know if I'll get around to that today, but it does need to come out and get a nice cleaning. And if you're new to the channel, simple setup here. I have a surge protector, smart surge protector over here. You can get the same one from Coral View for like double the price. So just get on Amazon and get that. This one, Tunze ATO, two Tunze 6055s that I've converted the pumps to 6095s for wider flow. Jabo DCP 4000 Inkbird heater controller on two Eheim heaters. So basically I have the return pump, the two Tunze power heads, and my refugium light on the Wi-Fi outlet. Otherwise, everything else is on all the time. I do have some stuff plugged into a battery backup, so I do run an APC. I think this is a 1500 battery backup, and the battery probably needs to be replaced, or it's getting close to getting replaced anyway. So we don't see this view very often because most of the time I'm recording, I have the screen on the tank. As soon as that water out in the garage is going to heat up, get it in here, I'll be able to pull out about half the display and then start adding corals back. Not speaking of, but the yellow tank swam in front of the camera. So I was shocked to see that these things, the yellow tang is like $150, $200 now. Apparently Hawaii shut down and that's where these fish come from. I don't know, pretty shocking to me. I think I paid $30 to $50, $60 for that one. I've had it for a while. So yeah, it just shows you how the reef market, as far as livestock is concerned, fluctuates pretty heavily. The yellow chorus wrasse was just out a second ago. It's actually growing, looking pretty good. I did mix up some more kalkwasser. So I've got just a little bit gone from the right container. Got my spare container on the left there. The Acro Power, doing great. I've stopped adding nitrates to the ATO container. I was doing that, but I've stopped doing that, and I'm just adding a little bit at a time to the tank. Huge chaeto harvest today, 2 gallons full. And then I'm actually gonna pull out some of this rock and this Cyperax today. I do have quite a bit of live rock down here, so I may move this rock into here. I don't plan on adding a skimmer, not yet anyway. I don't really think I have a reason to add a skimmer to this system, but I just want to get some of the rock out of there and maybe get that section of the sump cleaned out. The whole sump could probably use a very good cleaning, but I really don't like messing with the Red Sea Reefer plumbing all that much, just because it's real finicky, it's proprietary. If you break something, it's gonna have to be, kind of like a DIY fix, and yeah, I don't really want to deal with that. One of the best things that I ever did was adding a true gate valve to the drain section. So this is the drain, this is the emergency drain, this is the return. And looks like I should probably look at getting some more hose for the return too, because it's got some gunk built up in there, I'm sure from the refugium light. But yes, I never have to adjust that. Still need to get a shelf for the Kamoer pumps. May work on that later today as well. Ooh, I just seen a nice little yellow sponge on the reef, or in the reef. And normally, from what I've heard over the years, that's a good sign. There's actually a couple more there too. So that's pretty cool, pretty awesome find. So in the last clip, I talked for about 6 minutes. I came out here, we're at 76.3. So I definitely think that the infrared heater is working for the purpose that I'm using it for right now. So I'm just gonna kind of resituate it a little bit and maybe move it closer here. Nice warm air coming off there. I think it's a brilliant idea. I decided after taking the rock out, the light down there is fixing to die, but this rock has yet more sponges on it. So basically I took it out. I'm just gonna kind of rinse it off in here. It is gonna go back in the sump. These 2 buckets here are kind of the buckets that I'll use if I don't have enough salt water mixed up, so I can add this back to the tank, or this bucket right here. So that's probably close to 20 gallons, 25, we'll call this like 28 gallons of water here. So I didn't drain the tank down as far as I thought I was going to, because this process has taken a little bit longer than I had anticipated, and I didn't want to leave any corals out of the water. So I stopped right at the water's line there. But I did empty as much as I could out of this, the skimmer section, drain the water out of the refugium section, and there's a ton of rock underneath the chaeto. I made sure to turn the heaters off. They probably need a little bit of maintenance done on them. But I need to get the little attachment that goes on a 5-gallon bucket so I can suck the rest of this stuff out. And that's what I may do. Instead of pulling the whole sump out, I may just get that. It's like 20 bucks. It goes onto a 5-gallon bucket. May drain all the water out. This is a approximately 17-gallon sump. Drain all the water out, pull the chaeto out, pull the rock out, just vacuum it out, you know, scrape all of the crud off of it. And, you know, that'll be a pretty good cleanup anyway. So, so out in the garage, sorry about the cough there. I am team bucket. And this heater worked out amazingly. So I do have one bucket that's fixing to go back in the tank. But the water in here, according to the Inkbird, is 78.2. So we're rocking. So I'm going to start shutting down equipment in this, the Brute, start bucketing water into the tank, get everything set back up, get everything cleaned up. We'll be back in business. This is why water changes are not fun. I got to clean up this mess, dry everything off. I've already rinsed these out. I need to rinse this bucket out. I can't rinse this out because it's so cold outside, but I rinsed everything else out in the sink. But I'm going to dry everything off, put them in my storage bucket. And I calculated correctly because I thought that I was going to keep the rock out of the skimmer section. So this is a fresh 5 gallons of water. I'm actually going to let the tank run for a little bit. It's probably 4.5 gallons. Do a 4.5 gallon water change. Just let the tank circulate, some of the old water and the new water, whatever. Drain out 4.5 gallons, put this in there. I don't want to dump this down the drain. I would rather let the tank circulate a little bit, put that water in the tank, call it good. I'm exhausted. I mean, this is why I don't do water changes, and I'm sweating. Kind of shot myself in the foot with this because when I do water changes, it's usually like the 20 to 30 gallon water changes. Corals are not happy. Nobody's happy, but everything's going to settle down. Everything's going to be all right. I am going to look at, again, the little bucket shop vac extension so I can get the sump cleaned. I need to pull out the return pump, like I said, and get that cleaned. I do that like maybe once a year or so. Other than that, folks, I appreciate you following along. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Pelfrey's Reef. Check out the website at pelfrey.net. And I'll catch you on the next one.